you guys, it's definitely been a minute since we've been here on YouTube. Oh, I think it's been like 3 years. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Anyway, so happy to be back. Today what I'm doing is a date night look. It's fresh and luminous and just what I love to look like when I'm going out with my honey. So I do think though this look is great for every day. I think it's office appropriate, and I mean it would even look beautiful on a wedding day. So it's simple and sweet, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, let's do this. Definitely when I go out, I want to make sure that I look well rested and luminous. The well rested part's a little difficult, especially this time of year with it being wedding season. And under eye circles and darkness is definitely an issue for me anyway. So that's what we're gonna focus on for sure, is making sure the skin is on point and that the eyes look nice and fresh. So I like to do eyes first. Maybe it's because I'm a little bit messy, but that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start off with the NYX eyeshadow base. This guy right here, I will say, I think it's really fantastic. It makes everything go on smooth and stay put nice and long. The only thing about it, I will say, is that it's marked as skin tone, but it's actually, I would say, like medium. It does cover up though with the eyeshadow, so it's not necessarily a big issue. Now that I have that base on, I'm actually going to put on another base. Well, it's really a cream shadow. This is by Be a Bombshell Cosmetics. I'm not actually super familiar with the brand. I did receive this in one of my Ipsies over this year. So this one is in Submissive is the shade, and it's just kind of a shimmery taupe. And I think that this is just such a pretty color. So, and this guy is just going to give a nice shimmery creamy base for the shadows that are going right on top. So I like to use my finger and just pat that all over the eyelid, anywhere where you can feel your eyeball. I am obsessed with this palette. This is by Morphe, and it is their 35W palette. It's 35 colors. Can you believe that? So many shades, and such an affordable price. I think it's around 20 bucks on their website, so it's definitely worth a have. Everything's smooth, creamy, and super blendable. And there's basically every shade you'd ever need to do everything from natural to smoky. So I'm gonna grab this natural shade right here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of establish my highlight essentially first. So right underneath that brow bone with that light color. And I'm just gonna layer it out a little bit because I really want it to be nice and bright. And then let's go ahead and get inside the inner corner as well. So there we go. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take a little bit of this color right here on the other end, and it's kind of a, what would I call this? A little bit of a shimmery vanilla. It has a little bit more shine than that last shade we used, and I'm just going to use this on the inner third of the eye. We always want to think of the eye in terms of thirds, never in halves, because that will make your eye look smaller if you cut your eye in half. So let's get a fluffy brush now, and I'm going to go for this medium brown and this guy right here too. They're just both kind of brown. This one's a little warmer, so I'm just going to mix them, and I'm just going to go right in the crease and windshield wiper motions, back and forth, back and forth. We want to make sure that both sides are even, so basically layer, layer, layer until you feel that you reach the desired intensity. I don't want it to be too dark. I just want to give myself a little bit of contour, a little bit of definition. I think that looks good. This guy is brown, nice and chocolatey. I think this is going to look really good. Oh my gosh, if you have blue eyes, this is going to be amazing. But it works for brown eyes too. But brown is definitely a blue-eyed girl's best friend, that's for sure. This is so pretty. Look at this shimmery brown. Oh my gosh, you guys. This palette is so buttery. I'm going to tap this on the outer third. So I'm going to pat that in. You can kind of see that it's still a little bit messy. That's okay, we're going to blend it out. Okay, go back to this brush you used on the crease and just go ahead and go back into that crease again, because that's just going to help blend out the edges of the darker brown that you just used. I want a little bit of a stronger highlight in the inside of my eye. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull out my Anastasia contour kit. This is for the face, but you definitely can contour your eyes or anywhere on the face with it as well. I'm just going to use a combination of the two highlighting shades in this, and I'm just going to go back over in this inner corner. So another thing I love to do too on the eyes is I do like to just pop a hint of blush in the crease. I just feel like it kind of makes everything come together. So I'm actually going to be wearing this blush palette today. This is the Light Blush Palette by e.l.f. It's fantastic. I think it's around $6. Super affordable, and stays put. I mean, these blushes give my NARS ones a run for their money for sure. So I'm just taking a little bit of this pink color right here, and I am popping that right into the crease, just a hint. What you're gonna see is once we finish our complexion, that's gonna kind of tie everything together. Okay, let's use, how about this guy right here? That looks good. Oh yeah, I like that. I'm just gonna tap that a little bit over the center of the lid. I'm not really eliminating the color underneath it, but just kind of giving it a little bit of a pop, which I think is really pretty. I love this liner. This is by Jessie's Girl, and this one is, it's just their liquid eyeliner is what I think it's called, and it's in black. It's fantastic, so easy to use. It has like a little felt tip. It's already loaded with product, so you don't need to dip anything. And I'm just gonna go ahead and line my eye. So what I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna give myself a little bit of a wing, but for me to get the perfect wing, the key is to make sure that you do everything to one eye that you do to the other before moving on to the next step. So step number one is to line the eye the way you would in a classic way. Straight across, essentially. Perfect, let's do the same thing to the other eye now. Awesome, now they're both lined straight. So now we're gonna do the wing. Let's do the wing on this guy first. Tilt your head back, figure out how far out you want your wing to go, and then we're gonna start at that point on the outer edge and bring the liner in. I know it's counterintuitive because we always think, oh, let's flick it out. And you can do that, but if you don't have it down pat, you're gonna find that you're gonna end up with your wings kind of not always symmetrical. So I want my wing, I think, to go to about there. So let's drag that in. Do you see that? We've got like a nice line. I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side now. Tilt your head back. Don't pull on your eye, but if you need to steady it, steady it. We're gonna connect this line down to there and then fill it in essentially. So let's put that down there to the edge, fill it in. So now that we've drawn both eyes and we've filled them in, you just want to make sure they're totally symmetrical, and if you want to add any finishing details to them, now's the time. So I think I want to just drag it out a little tiny bit, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye. Perfect, so now we've lined both eyes. If you made any mistakes or you just feel like sharpening it up a bit, the easiest way to do that is with a makeup wipe. Grab a makeup wipe, and what we're going to do is we're going to fold it in half. Then line it up on the edge of your eye, and then just pull it up. And what we're gonna do, as you can see, is we're just sharpening that edge that we drew our line on. It even kind of pulls out the liner by just like a smidge, which helps give you that flick. Voila, perfectly lined eyes. Okay, now for mascara. This is the Iconic Overcurl. It's a fantastic mascara, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and wiggle it right on. I'm gonna use the Dark Tone Duo and the Ardell Individuals in the short length, and we're just gonna plop a few on, basically on the ends, just to give this look a little bit of oomph. And what I do is I like to put a little bit of glue inside the package so that I can dip each lash in a really easy way. And I dip the lash right into the glue and give it a little shake if you want, and then I'm just gonna plop it right into the root of the lash. That way we get a little bit of flutter. Let's see here. I don't think I'm gonna do a full row. I think I'll probably just put 4 or 5 on the ends on each eye. Now I'm gonna go for the foundation. I love this. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte. I wear shade 104 Golden Beige, and I find that I appreciate this foundation best when I apply it with my fingers. This foundation actually has a polymer in it, So because of that, the dry down time's a little faster than your average foundation, and so I find that using my hands allows for a smoother application before it dries so I don't end up being streaky. Awesome, foundation's on, and now I'm gonna go ahead and do some concealer. Oh, my favorite. I'm gonna go ahead and use the Maybelline Fit Me in number 20. This stuff is so good. It's seriously, honestly, just as good as a lot of my expensive ones, and I love it. It doesn't claim to be crease resistant, but I find that it definitely is. So, and I like to just give myself a nice generous application, also in areas that I would typically highlight in addition to where I need concealing. And then just use your fingers to blend it out. Much better. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't sleep very well last night and I need a little extra help. I'm gonna use the MAC Prep and Prime. This is an under eye highlighter, or really a face highlighter as well. It's in Bright Forecast. It's kind of a little bit of a peachy shade, and I'm just gonna use my finger and I'm gonna tap that right over basically where I applied my concealer, just to give myself a little more boost in the under eye area since I do look tired today. Awesome, let's set everything now so it stays in place. I'm gonna use the Maybelline Fit Me powder to set everything. This is in shade 220, and I do love this powder for setting because it's nice and smooth, but it's not too heavy. It doesn't have too much coverage in it. It's perfect for going on top of liquid. And this one actually is the original formula that is not the mattifying one. Awesome. Okay, now for the fun part, highlight and contour. Back to the Anastasia palette. I'm gonna go ahead and grab an angled brush, and I'm gonna use the yellow banana shade, and I'm just gonna set my under eye area with that. Just a little dab, nothing major. It's on my skin tone, it's not gonna provide an extreme highlight, but it's just gonna kind of lock everything into place and make it nice and bright. I'm gonna go back over the center of my face again, where I highlighted with the concealer. Perfect. And then let's go ahead with the more shimmery highlight and just drag that on top of the cheekbones. And hit the top of the lip, center of the face. Awesome. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of the contour as well. There's kind of 3 shades in this for contour. There is a cool toned kind of a taupey gray, and then there's a really warm kind of more of like a bronzer shade, and then there's one that's kind of in between. I'm going to use the in between shade just to carve out where I want to go first, and then I'm going to go back in with the more taupe. So for my face, it's going to be different for everyone, but I like to kind of get underneath my cheekbones there so that I can slim out my face a little bit. You see how it kind of just carves out everything? We're gonna blend it out, don't worry. Let's also go on top of the forehead. And of course the jawline's important as well. So now that we have kind of sculpted out where we want, essentially I'm just gonna do a little blending work. So now that we're all blended out, let's go back into that cooler tone right here. And I'm just gonna use a more precise, smaller brush, and I'm gonna go ahead and go into some just strategic areas where I want some real depth. I'm gonna go right under here, underneath the cheek right here. I'm also gonna go along the jawline. And then I'm going to go top of the forehead. I'm not really one to contour my nose. Maybe I should, I don't know. It's just not really on my radar. But what I do usually is that there'll be a little bit of something left over on my brush, and I do sometimes just hit the top of my nose to give me a little bit of bronze more than anything. Okay, contour is done. Let's go ahead and add a little color to the cheeks. Go back to that e.l.f. blush palette that we used earlier. I'm going to use this lightest shade of pink, the one that we used inside the crease of the eye, and I'm just going to go right on the apples of the cheeks and blend it back. And then I always like to go in with at least one more shade just to give a little dimension to the cheek. So let's go ahead and go with the deeper pink. Perfect. I love the Jordana Brow Duo. I think I've said that with like everything I picked up. I love this, but I really do, obviously, or else I wouldn't be using it. It's the Blonde Duo. I think it works for just about everyone. It has 2 shades in it, kind of a darker taupe and then kind of a warmer blonde. I do have a lot of strawberry in my hair, so I can get away with that warmer blonde color. So what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and fill my brows. I'm gonna start from the bottom and just kind of sketch out what I'm gonna do, and then go up on the top and do the same thing. So I kind of have the general form of what I want my brows to look like. Awesome, I think that's great. So now what I'm gonna do is just sharpen up the tail and fix the front. I think my brows are about even now, so I'm gonna comb them out. Just get a clean spoolie, or if you have a special brow brush, use that. And what I'm just gonna do is comb it. And the more you comb, the more it's gonna just soften everything so you don't see those lines you made and just make everything look a little more natural. I think we're just about there. Let's put on some lips. I'm using 902C Bare It All by Wet n Wild in their Mega Last formula. Long wearing, it is more on the dry side, so I am gonna layer it with a little bit of gloss. This is by NYX. It's their Mega Shine Lip Gloss in the shade Perfect. And I agree, this is like the ultimate combo for kind of a nudie, pinky kind of color. Of course, we gotta finish off with a little bit of setting spray. I'm using the L'Oreal Infallible setting spray. Really, this Infallible line is fantastic, let's be real. Hold your hand just a little bit away from your face and just spray. And then what I like to do is I like to take my powder brush and just kind of dab the face and make sure everything is blended in with the spray, that is. And voila, what do we think? I think I am ready for my date. Hopefully he gets here soon. Thanks so much for tuning in today, guys, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.